man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And there, when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself, or how much you have or don't have, or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombia.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it, folks, on this fine Wednesday. Welcome. Appreciate it. Rolling in from Joel's chat, and it's truly a pleasure to be back. And I got a little show for you here. Kind of get into it as we do. heard a little bit about slavery on the other show. It started off a little bit of a conversation in the back. Maybe not too much. Definitely kicked off a Googling fest to get to the bottom of it, maybe a little bit. Slavery in the Bible? You know, it's Juneteenth. But hey, I'm the American Anchor Baby. You could call me 888-775-3773. You want to jump on the line and speak to the Anchor Baby here. Hold on. Amazing. So, call me. Appreciate everybody over there at dlive.tv/Gorgonzola, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. And I'm seeing you in the chat. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Slavery. What was it that I wanted to say? Plata o plomo. Welcome. How you doing, Necio? Don't be Necio, but thank you for being here. But yes, it's true and fascinating. It truly is. Oh, a Zelensky in every color. I almost forgot. We got the Zelensky on. You know, it's always, I didn't mean it, but I might mention a little war stuff here. You know, Putin, they're saying something interesting with Putin. It's not, you think I'm saying interesting like it's important news. No, but we're talking about a car ride. Was it a ride from hell? Was it a ride from hell for one of these leaders of their nation? Apparently it was for one of them. We'll get into that and more. I see calls rolling in, 888-775-3773. So I was listening to Das HAKE report, and that's not a dig. That's not anything. That's not subliminal messaging for I'm just thinking of some of the callers on the HAKE report, and sometimes people get under their skin, and you know, when someone gets under your skin, you think all sorts of conspiracy theories about them, and you cannot convince them otherwise. And saying Das HAKE report. Imagine if I put my arm up to point at the time. Imagine if I put my arm up to point at that clock right there, and said Das HAKE report. The communists would take that, would have a field day. They would have a field day. So where was I? I was listening to Das HAKE report. He said something like slavery isn't always bad or something. I know it had someone asking like, wait, what the heck does HAKE? What's HAKE mean by that? Wait, hold on. Can we get a little clarification? Because we're in the United States of. I'm adding to it. The conversation did not even go farther than this, because we're in the United States of America where there's no slavery. And you'll have to ask HAKE if you're still wondering. Call him, watch his show. I do remember him mentioning it. It made me look it up in the Bible. And why not? Like, you might find this interesting. Talking about slavery. Not really wanting to get into it too deep, but look, let me move fast before I end up doing just that. 1 Peter. Because there's actually a bunch of them. And the Bible talks about obeying your earthly masters with respect and fear, sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Obey them not only to win their favor when their eye is on you, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from your heart. Wow, like that's just radical. You mean that's a fancy way of saying just cuck to the masters and be a slave? But I think that would be a shallow response, because there's no comedy to this statement. You're slaves to sin. We're slaves to the desires and quarrels that come out within us. Imagine being free even as a slave. It's a little interesting to think about, no? It's at least leagues deeper and more helpful and insightful than we're oppressed. We're oppressed. And imagine, let's say for a second, before I say this, if I may, 1 Peter, slaves in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters. It is commendable someone bears up under the pain of unjust suffering. There's numerous calls to this long suffering of internal struggle and becoming better, not bitter through it. It's all there. It's all there. It's all there. Because isn't that such a perfect response too? Like, imagine if you were. Imagine for a second all the conspiracies were real. The cops are out there getting black people. It's racism. And you're oppressed and the world is against you. The right thing remains the same. You've got to take the pain. Imagine this. The world's against you. You're in jail, but it's just you and your slaves, you and your slave brothers and sisters. Hey, we're going to be long suffering and be rich in spirit, and the opportunity will come, and there will be a time. That's not even like silly to say. Like you gotta be a non-Christian, lack of faith, hope, and love, and anything decent to not think that. I don't think that's too much of an ask for a Christian. Okay, oppression, da-da-da. You know what I also heard? Just to move on fast now, let's move on from this. I heard this buying your freedom thing get brought up. On this buying your freedom, okay, this is like Anchor Baby, bird's eye view take. You could call me. We could get the accuracies straightened out on my show, live on the air, 888-775-3773. But I'm buying your freedom. Now, I don't know the deets. And ChatGPT gave me a bit of a rundown for over the years of human history of this buying freedom. It's varied significantly over time, and that's where we're looking at it from. That's how far we are from this take. That's how high up we are. You understand what I'm saying? Assuming a couple of things here, like assuming no tricks, assuming not unjustly putting a slave in debt that they'll never get out of. That does not sound like an entirely bad system. Like, hear me out. Like, not entirely bad. Like, it's kind of similar to, in a sense, what we have today, right? Imagine you get sick, you don't have money, you just go in debt, right? You just go in debt for many things. If you can't hack it, right? Imagine being a slave and just not being able to hack it, okay? All right, you could buy your freedom, but you're not saving your pennies. I asked ChatGPT, well, what the heck is a slave? What the heck can a slave spend their money on irresponsibly that they can't buy their freedom? I'm asking ChatGPT, quite frankly. As you can see, I'm ignorant, so don't get mad at me. But ChatGPT's like, well, they used to buy, they were given some things, but if you needed more supplies and goods and different things, you'd buy them. And so, I don't know, like, if you can't hack it, isn't that kind of on you? Isn't that kind of on you? And shouldn't there be some gratitude to not being left out in the wilderness? Isn't that how our society kind of is? I mean, there are people trying to undo it. They call it slavery. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. They call it racism to this day. And so maybe I shouldn't give them ammo in a sense, but they'll always have ammo because that's what haters do. Blamers, victimhood, that's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Funny? Yes, funny. Maybe a little true. Nice. Appreciate the calls. A little patience. We will be getting to you. 888-775-3773. Crying. Don't cry, even in slavery. Like, it's kind of an amazing thing to think about. The standard that, I don't know if it's expect, but it's almost taboo to even think about, even begin to think about having a sort of expectation for yourself, a standard any higher than wherever you are, let alone perfection and greatness. That's taboo. Have you noticed that? To even like think that, to even start thinking of that, it's arrogance. You're immoral. Don't you know you're crud? You're crud like the rest of us. And I know the Bible says we're sinners and things like that, and it's just true. So as not to think of yourself like some kind of God, but it's that's not godly to do this other drama like you're just crud. You know that's taboo. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much taboo, to think of yourself in any way and to have a standard for yourself. And you know what that means, right? When you have a standard for yourself, Judgmental people have a standard for others that they don't have for themselves, right? They look at the trunk in their brother's eye. The mustard seed, actually. The trunk is in your own eye. Psh. The trunk in my brother's eye. The trunk in my brother's eye. And the mustard seed in my eye. That's how some people would like that verse maybe to go. That's funny. So, where was I? Slavery, buying your freedom, hate, blame, and victimhood. I wanted to get to basically, I forget what I was saying. Whatever. Anyways, speaking of slaves a little bit. Speaking of the slaves, we're going to go to Pyongyang for this story. I don't think that's in the parable, Nick. So anyways, look, standards. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, you have standards for yourself. You kind of have it for others. Judgmental people will do it that other way, but when you have that kind of standard for yourself, other people feel judged. So you get it. It's taboo. It's taboo to even have a standard. Okay. And this standard that the Bible is calling for is more than any shallow thing you could think of. We're talking about not hating, even if you're like a slave. Okay, so we're going to Pyongyang for this one. That's North Korea. I'm just joking. Maybe they're not slaves over there. Maybe they're happy. I don't know. North Korea, it's led by Kim Jong-un, okay? And there's some grand moves, they say, in the grand game. Grand moves in the grand game. The chessboard of Earth. The round chessboard of Earth. I mean, chessboards are flat, right? Hey, whatever. Look, it's grand moves in the grand game, international moves here. And in these times of conflict, they're saying Vladimir Putin met with Kim Jong-un with what is supposed to be a security pact. We're seeing changes in the alliances of the world. Depends on who you ask. Varying levels of significance, but can we agree not insignificant? Especially the timing. But check this out. So Vladimir Putin took host Kim Jong-un for a spin through the streets of Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, in a luxury limousine, one of several gifts the Russian president bestowed upon the North Korean leader after the pair signed a new comprehensive partnership deal that included a mutual defense clause. That's what'll get people talking. Wait, if you're in a war, I'm in a war? Okay, now we're talking, well, I guess we're talking war. The Kremlin chief presented Kim with the boxy vehicle manufactured by Russia's Urus. So this looks pretty snazzy, okay? I mean, some I've heard call this a Rolls-Royce ripoff. But hey, it looks luxurious to me. Anybody know just what we're talking about? Russia, Urus. Looking pretty mafiosi, Sleek stuff, expensive. Gift for the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un. Taking it out for a spin. Along with a tea set and an admiral's sword and a symbolic gesture of thanks for North Korea's consistent and unwavering support for his war in Ukraine. So the buddies are making friends. They're meeting up. They're having tea time and they're drawing up pacts. And we're talking about it a little bit. Daily Mail reporting this. But a photo snapped moments later saw Putin, who is rarely at the helm of his own vehicle, looking unsure behind the wheel as Kim looked on, sporting a nervous expression. Daily Mail. Now, if I may read the headline of this article, bumbling Putin screeches round corner. If I may here, read the headline here. Bumbling Putin screeches round corner and veers across road while taking a panic-stricken Kim Jong-un for a spin in Russian-made limo he gifted North Korean tyrant. Like, I've seen the video. I don't know if Daily Mail added to it. I can't seem to find any other news, any other, news website reporting it with these words. Maybe they are now. I know that Daily Mail, I feel like Daily Mail was the first, and I know they're the only ones with the courage. Can we call it courage? Maybe sleaziness to do it. But it's a funny headline. I don't know if they added to it. Let's watch the video, though. Is this the nightmare ride from hell for Kim Jong-un riding with Putin? Does he drive crazy? Some people say I drive crazy. I think it's true. It might be true, actually. That might be true. But Kim Jong-un, they're saying Daily Mail writes, Putin lurched around corners and appeared to weave across the road during the short trip that saw the pair share a rare moment away from the hordes of close protection bodyguards and security teams before heading to attend a gala concert. Let's watch Putin drive, putting pedal to the metal for a moment here with Kim Jong-un in his snazzy new Russian luxury vehicle. Oris visit to Pyongyang. Getting in the driver's seat, it seems like a bit of a strange sight, doesn't it? It seems like a bit of a strange sight. Like, I've never seen Trump get into the front of a car like that. Isn't that kind of like totally luxurious? Like when you see, I'm feeling halfway what I'm about to say because I used to feel more strongly about what I'm about to say, but like veneers, like fake. They look silly, even, to be honest. But you get don't you get an air of affluence? Okay, that's a bad example. Not ever see you. Yeah, you can't show me maybe you could show me a video now if you look for it, but I've never seen one of Trump getting into a vehicle like that. I wonder, does that make him look better or no? Look, whatever. Let's watch the video. Lurching across. I don't know. Stay in the lines, my man. Whoa, Putin. I guess does he have to? If you're Putin, driving an Urus, a Russian-made luxury vehicle, and in the passenger seat is Kim Jong-un, the fearless leader of that nation, do you have to stay in the lines, really? You feel me? I don't know. You hear someone yelling, and I don't think that's coming from Kim Jong-un's vehicle. But I guess this is now Kim taking the driver's seat. And this looks slower. Look, this doesn't look like it's just a small moment, but it seemed like slower driving than Putin there. You saw that for a moment. Okay, the fearless leaders getting out of the vehicle and then continuing to enjoy their day. Amazing. I don't know what do y'all think? What do y'all think if that was crazy? Crazy driving. Absolutely crazy. Too careful. Asian drives more carefully. Too carefully. Trump, Putin, nobody has even had a hint of stubble. Yeah. The driver's side is an American side. Let's go. So, if I may, just real quick, the picture that Daily Mail showed that they say is Putin behind the vehicle looking confused. Looking like confused, they say, but that was that. So that's a little bit with these top leaders. Funny stuff with the car. Maybe Putin's a bit of a crazy driver. Maybe Putin's a bit of a crazy driver. It is serious in a sense, the security pact, and I do want to get into that real quick and give you the deets on that, the quick rundown, and get to calls. But you got to see they had a shake off. You know, these leaders of the world, they have full on public relations battles in mere handshakes. Here's what I mean. Putin and Kim Jong-un with a decency off, with a politeness off, who gets into the car first. It was difficult stuff. In fact, they were on the brink of war. Oh, wait, hold on. They were on the brink of war. This could have turned ugly. You see, he's like, no, you go. No, you go. You go. No, you go. But the problem is we don't want to talk with you. Okay. And Putin finally relents. Can we say relent, or is that just, okay, this guy's just not going to get in the car. This guy's literally just not getting in the car. So I'm just going to sit down. He even does a little head shake. This is like war general stuff, okay? This head shake was for the people. This head shake was for his Russian supporters. It wasn't relenting, okay? It was simply just, look, we just got to go, okay? We just got to go. All right, okay. Okay, that's not so serious, dissecting that. Who knows what's really going on? But these things happen. They say Trump is a killer with that shake, bringing him in close. Shaking their hand and bringing him in close. That's his move, if you've ever seen it. So, yeah. Show Putin swimming with the dolphins. What the? Are you saying that happened, or are you asking for violent things to happen to Putin? Because if so, I disavow that, sir, or whoever you are. Security Pact, real quick. Let's do this real quick. Security Pact, now let's get to a call here, because I want to get through the Security Pact thing and then hate, blame, and victimhood with some Israel stuff. I think you'll find this quite interesting. Came across an article. You got to know a little bit. Let's get into Security Pact. Here's the news. Putin visits North Korea to discuss Security Pact. I'm getting this from antiwar.com. And the Russian President Putin traveled to North Korea for his first state visit to that country in more than 20 years. Two sides will hold talks covering a new comprehensive security deal, closer trade ties, and other sensitive issues. Ahead of this visit, Putin published an article in North Korea's state-run newspaper vowing to boost cooperation across several areas while hailing the strong support for the Russian war effort in Ukraine. He went on to condemn the United States as a global neo-colonial dictatorship based on double standards. Okay, so, outward kind of like aggression to the West. Not aggression, what should we call it? Just hostilities, where it's time of conflict. And some, I make this point because some are still even saying now, sort of stuff like, well, U.S. isn't at war with Russia. I swear I heard Destiny say something like that, like recently. So anyways, look, it's like a full-on proxy war, folks. I've played you that Lloyd Austin clip, the defense, Lloyd Austin, who is he exactly? United States Secretary of Defense talking about, and Lindsey Graham talking about, we're just depleting the Russian army. That's what we're doing. So that's that on that. Real quick, too, kind of related, China's Xi Jinping was having a conversation with the European Commission in 2023. This is being reported just now, though, by antiwar.com. And with President Ursula von der Leyen, the Chinese President Xi Jinping accused the U.S. of attempting to goad him into invading the island of Taiwan. So these are the claims from some of these leaders who are joining forces. It seems like they're teaming up. Seems like opposing America, the West, and all that. Just kind of reporting some of these things. I do remember reporting how troops, and I forget, I believe they were U.S. troops, were stationed pretty close on an island pretty close to China. So bold moves, what it seems like in this times of conflict, especially the timing. And through this all, in this time of conflict, if I may say it again, there's something, I came across an article, and it's about Israel, and we're going to get into it here after this call, okay, folks? So I think you'll find it interesting. It's a little bit about hate, blame, and victimhood, and what a whole nation can be built on, and what it shouldn't be built on. What's hate, blame, and how hate, blame, and victimhood is not a foundation for anything good. I don't care who it is, what it is, whatever. Let's get to Mark, though, out of Los Angeles. Thank you for your call, Mark. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I wanted to, if you don't mind, to just bring up slavery since it is the 19th of June. I just wanted to say, if you didn't know this already, the safest time in American history, I'm talking about safe as far as, criminal activity, was when we had slavery. The streets of America were safe. It was safe for a white woman to walk down any street in America in 1860. But after the slaves were freed, the black crime wave started. Not as intense initially, although Reconstruction after the Civil War was black violence on white. It took the KKK to liberate the white man in the South after the Reconstruction, after Civil War. And it slowly, the black crime increased into the point where we're at now. So, no, I am not anti-slavery. Look at the society that we are in now compared to the time of slavery. I know we have modern technology and things have changed, but can you imagine how beautiful this country would have been if we would have kept things the way they were or deported the Negroes after slavery had ended? Instead, we're facing the abyss, a multicultural nightmare for America. And one other thing I should say on slavery.
How do you know? I don't want you to forget this last
history, but that black people have had total 100% employment.
You said what about 100% employment?
Black people were 100% employed with slavery.
Oh yeah, I guess anybody.
They were all working.
Yeah, I guess so. If you're enslaved,
they were all Christianized.
If you're going to be, ain't no point in having a slave that's not going to work. Of course, you're going to be employed.
I don't know what they did with the ones that didn't work. No idea. Maybe they sent them back. But I could tell you that that's the only time in American history where the streets of America were safe. I'm not saying there wasn't any crime, but very little compared to today.
You know, that's something. That's one of those. I want to say one of those facts that would rub people the wrong way. But if we dropped
the
offense,
people that are rubbed the wrong way.
But hold on, I want to say. Let me finish. That's one of those facts. But I say with an asterisk because I'm not sure where you're getting that from, and I'm not educated on these things. So I don't want to call something a fact that I personally don't really know as a fact. But on that,
how could there have been crime in the streets when the black people were in the South working as slaves? I know there were the fugitive slaves that escaped, but they were usually caught by bounty hunters or the army. So they weren't that big a problem. But no, the streets in America were safe in 1860. And it wasn't, compare 1860 to today. I mean, it's not safe for anybody to go out now. I mean, it's just crime-ridden everywhere. And I think...
I gotcha. So, yeah, I was saying on that could be one of those, like a fact that I personally can't verify. But it could be a fact that could rub people the wrong way. But if we just didn't get offended, there might be an interesting insight here. But I'd like to know, what's your conclusion for America today from what you're saying? Like, are you saying... Like, what? Yeah, help me understand your conclusion.
Well,
what do we do today? Are you saying we should just enslave people to get rid of crime? No. Do you think that's a real solution?
No, it's too late. To be honest with you, it's too little, too late. I don't know what can be done now. To be honest with you,
but do you think slavery? You think reenacting slavery was at it sounds like you're saying that at one time it was a viable, but now at this point it's just too late. But at one point,
they're too out of hand now. And the younger ones that are being born out of these radicals, they're going to hate white people. Every generation of Negroes seems to hate us even more.
Yeah.
Because the more you give them, the more they hate us. The other thing...
I don't disagree with that at all, man. But real quick, are you saying that at one point it was viable? That you thinking at this point it's too late. But at one point, actually, yeah, there was a time not too long ago where reenacting slavery was a viable solution, you're thinking?
I don't know. Maybe at some time in the 19th century.
You're a little unsure on that? Oh, okay.
Pardon?
The 19th century. That sounds like a long time ago, right?
Then. There was a Back to Africa movement that Lincoln wanted to employ, but he was assassinated before he was able to do it. And now we're stuck with them. And the other thing, too, is you have to remember the Bible condones slavery. So there's nothing anti-Christian about being a slave owner.
Where does it condone slavery?
Pardon me?
It condones slavery?
Yeah, well, yeah, the Bible, and I can't give you verse and quote because I'm not an expert on the Bible, but I know it says somewhere in there, masters treat your slave with respect.
But that's not condoning slavery. That's condoning peace. That's condoning peace and forgiveness.
And there was slavery at the time.
Wait, hold on. I know. I'm not doubting that. And I know that it was a different time. And I know that people have a wrong view of slavery. To just say that slavery was just this evil institution is just really shallow. But hold on, Mark. That verse is not condoning slavery. That verse is condoning forgiveness. That verse is all about forgiveness. That verse is completely and not about, because it's about whether you're a slave or a master. It has nothing to do with condoning slavery.
No,
that verse is about forgiveness.
Okay, in the Deep South, where slavery existed, that was the Bible Belt. For example,
I don't care about in this case. Okay, I'll leave it. You're right. I'll leave finish.
Okay, Woodrow Wilson, the president, his father was a slave owner, and he was also a Christian preacher. And they said it, and again, I'm not going to even try to give you verse and quote, but it's in there. Slavery was condoned by the Bible. No one who knows the Bible would argue with that.
Okay, but here's someone, if I may, just because of time, Mark, here's someone who doesn't know the Bible that well. You're telling me for sure it does condone it. Here I am with an open mind, not judging, not thinking, hey, what the heck? With an open mind, asking Mark from Los Angeles to tell me, all right, well, where is it in the Bible where it condones it? You told me one already so far. And now you're saying I won't go about verse and whatever because you don't know. But the one you did give me is about slave obey your earthly masters, right?
Correct.
Slaves obey your earthly masters in everything you do. This is Colossians 3:22-24.
There you go. Okay.
And it says, slaves obey your earthly masters in everything and do it not only when their eye is on you and to curry their favor, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. This verse has nothing to do with the institution of slavery. It acknowledges that it exists. In fact, it's speaking to slaves. It's acknowledging their situation, but it really has very little to do with that and everything to do with their reaction and their attitude about their situation. That's what that verse is about. It's not about to say that verse, just that verse specifically, Mark, because I'm just listening to you, right? You're trying to convince me of this. So far, with just that one, I got to say, Mark, that does not condone slavery.
Well, then how do you explain the Deep South preachers who condone slavery and they use the Bible to do it?
I don't know.
Not you. Okay,
I really don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not sure which preacher you're talking about, what they've said. I just know in general that people lie in general. I just know that the human heart is wicked. I just know the human heart. So I don't care if someone calls themselves a Baptist preacher, this, reverend, that. I personally don't put too much stock in that.
Okay. Well, then, if you plead ignorance to the subject, then
what ignorance am I pleading to? I want to make that. No, we could clear it up.
You don't see where the Bible condones slavery.
Yeah, so far, do you agree with me? Yeah. Do you agree with me with my assessment with the verse, the one verse that you gave me? Would you agree with my assessment that verse isn't really about the institution of slavery, but about the slave's reaction to?
I would say that condones it.
But tell me how you think. Tell me how that verse condones it.
When the Bible tells you to respect your master, that's another way of condoning it. I mean, do you want them to say yes, we condone it? Does it have to be that black and white for you? I mean, the Christian preacher.
It kind of does when in a conversation when someone is making a claim like that, when someone is making a claim as black and white as you are, it requires the evidence that the evidence that you bring up to prove that claim kind of requires that, don't you think, Mark?
No, it's a matter
I'm just taking it logically, and the evidence here so far doesn't prove it because look, the verse is clear.
Because you don't want to know. You don't want it to be proved. You want to pretend like it's not in there.
No.
It's
a matter. No, it's a different. So far, it's a matter. So far, you've given me one piece of evidence, and in this, it can go either way. like you were saying, you have your difference of opinion here. To me, it doesn't sound like a condoning of slavery, but it has everything to do with your reaction to slavery. In my opinion.
Are you going to deny that the Southern Baptist preachers and others who were slave owners were violating the Bible when they were practicing slavery, when they converted their slaves to Christianity? Are you going to tell me the Bible doesn't condone it?
I don't. Let me just break that down. Let me just break that down. So you say, do I believe these preachers you're talking about? Do I believe they were going against the Bible?
No, they were not going against the Bible.
But are you saying that's what I'm saying? If you ask me, yeah, sure. They believed they were going with the Bible.
Correct. Okay.
That's what they believe, but so do a lot of people.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure they're more knowledgeable of the Bible than either you or I.
Wait, what?
Okay, and they lived it. Again, I'll go back to Woodrow Wilson. His father was a preacher and a slave owner and condoned slavery. He's just one example. I can't give you a litany of people.
Again, we're not even... You may be misunderstanding me, Mark, so I say we just kind of move on to the next thing here. I think you're sincerely misunderstanding me. I'm just looking at the conversation so far like merely logical. I'm not denying that Christians in America, people who call, and decent people too, decent men, not just some crazy, like decent Christian men, call them who were owners of slaves. You know, I hear about Robert E. Lee and the things he said. Right, he was not just some rabid racist. Like, he was like a real person when you read about it, and the things he thought deeply about some of these things, right? And
he didn't own slaves. I know that.
But he say something. He had interesting things to say about slaves, despite being with the Confederates and all that. Look, all I'm trying to say is I'm not feigning ignorance here. I'm not pretending like I'm not also looking at what you're saying like the way the world looks at it, like just plain racism and all that. I'm just nitpicking a little bit because here's Mark from Los Angeles calling me and making a claim about a verse, and you said it, and we read it out, and so far doesn't make it. Okay, let's move on. What else do you want to say about slavery?
Well, again, when we did have slavery and when we had segregation, there was the black community itself was healthier. They didn't have the drug abuse. They didn't have the fathers of children. The violence wasn't as bad. Everything. It was when we ended these practices of both segregation and slavery that it just started going downhill. After the 1960s, everything changed for the worst. And it's only gotten progressively worse. I would call the last 50 years of failure.
I think you might be right, Mark.
50 years of failure, and it's getting worse.
I think you might be right, Mark, and some of these things are kind of lost to history, especially because of racism and all that. But can I ask you something here, if I may?
Sure.
On this whole very same, it's all kind of gotten worse. Black crime has always been a bit of a problem. Would you say that at the same time that the blacks and all this have gotten worse, have whites gotten worse as well?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So it's all kind of
why I think that is.
It's all kind of a story together. Go on. I'll let you finish.
Well, no, the reason I think whites have gotten worse is because they've been integrated in the last 50 years with blacks in schools, in society. It's led to a guilt complex within the whites, and it's led to a more militant attitude. Given this June 19th holiday,
right, which so many whites celebrate and are seem to be happy with it, and they're like, yeah, blacks need this, right? Would you agree with me that?
Fools. I haven't heard them.
So it sounds like to me like whites and blacks have actually been walking hand in hand towards hell.
Well, the whites are walking.
They're brothers and sisters in hell.
Yeah.
Why are y'all fighting so hard? You guys are like the same.
I don't want my white brothers and sisters to burn in hell. I mean, they're doing the forefathers, the founding fathers, and I've said this before. They've got to be looking down and with God and shaking their heads at what has happened to this country. When they wrote the Constitution, they had the Indians on reservations. Blacks were 3/5, and they were held in bondage, slavery, and we knocked the Brits out. And it was, I've said this many times, the Constitution was written by white men for white men. And at the time of slavery, when they were writing the Constitution, although they didn't put it in the Constitution itself, they did refer to Indians or Native American, I call them Indians, as soulless savages.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't in the Constitution, of course, but that gives you the mindset of who the Founding Fathers were. They knew that this country had to be led and governed by white men if we were to succeed.
Yeah.
And we were.
I don't disagree, Mark. I do not disagree. In fact, a lot of people get mad to some of the things you're saying, but you don't want to fight Mark on this. He's got the I don't know if I can't verify any of it. Like, you guys know me, but he's got the facts on some of this stuff. Look, I'm just saying, I'm just the type of person who looks at something like this, Mark. Let me paint a picture for you a little bit, because I can't help but hear what you're saying, and agree with the facts, and not look at it like racism like the world. But at the same time, I can point to you to people in the world today who are taking it back and enslaving the people who enslaved us, and they're getting worse. Have you know South Africa? Anything about them? You know how?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And so their problem is anger. I'll put it like that. Their problem is not. They're taking it back. Those blacks in South Africa.
Yeah.
There's people in the world today who are taking it back, and you know what I'm saying, doing unto them what they think was done to them. And I'm not saying that's exactly what you're saying. That would be unfair, I think, to say. But I can't help but see that in the world, and see parallels with maybe young white people today. And I don't see anybody winning out of that. You know, I don't see people winning when they're doing the hate, blame, and victimhood thing. But interesting facts, interesting stuff. Mark, what did you want to say here? Go ahead. We got to move on a little faster.
I was going to say, you mentioned South Africa. The only difference between the U.S. and South Africa is that in South Africa, the majority are black. So they're able to have their sick fantasies possibly come true. They've got a guy over there, I can't think of his name, but he advocates murdering whites. He's a politician. I don't know his name. He's a crazy man. But he may end up being president. But here in this country, we're still a majority, so their devilish plans can't quite work yet. But believe me, they're working on it. And
that is truly evil.
Yeah, I know. And the younger generation that are coming up of these people, they're taught to hate us immensely. They hate the cops, fight the cops. You know, we're bad. White people are bad. That's what's happening.
That's true. People will hear Mark say that and think like, oh, no, Mark, it's not that bad. But what people don't realize is that you might see like the extreme of maybe, I don't know, this black group, this black mob beating the crap out of some white kid in his school. It's like, yeah, that's like the worst extreme. But even these little things, even these like what seem like little things like, I don't know, Caitlin Clark came to mind. You think, you imagine Caitlin Clark, let's now extrapolate that and tessellate that to like a whole bunch of other white students in America. You start thinking that's what Mark is talking about. He's talking about you're taught to hate. You are taught to hate. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be extreme for it to be extreme. It doesn't have to be outwardly extreme to be extreme, because all angry people are extreme in their hearts.
Well, I wanted to bring this to your attention, too, and I'll let you go. Don't you remember, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago, they had it was in New York, these little black children in diapers, literally in diapers, were trying to fight the cops. They were calling them profanities. They were the cops were black, too, but they were trying to hit them and kick at them. They were just learning how to walk. They were literally in diapers. Now, where do you think they're learning this from?
Yeah, no, it's passed down, man.
Pardon me?
It's passed down.
That's what I'm trying to say. The new generation is going to be worse. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse. You know, you could talk about, well, the blacks are entering the middle class and all these good things, but the hatred for whitey will always be there, and it's only going to get worse.
Do you see whites hating others the same way?
No, I see them scared.
Do you see that that's the exact same thing?
He's running scared right now.
I can't help but harp on that, because I'm telling you, Mark, everything you're saying about the blacks, that will be the whites. And maybe after you're gone, and I'm not wishing that on anyone. We don't know.
No, I know.
Look, I'm just saying that one day you're just going to have a bunch of whites, I'm telling you, going like, but we was on top. We was kings. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's the whites.
Well,
if they keep on with the hate. Okay.
There was a guy named Adam Clayton Powell. You may not know him or have heard of him. He was a New York black congressman, very radical. And he said in the late 60s, talking to a bunch of fellow civil writers, he said, right now, this is probably around 68 or 69, he said, we got the white man on the run. We got to keep pushing for these civil rights bills. That's what he said. We have the white man on the run. And that's exactly how these rat civil writers are thinking about it right now.
They don't even hide it. Thing. Yeah, they don't even hide it anymore, man. It's crazy. They don't hide it about even like war stuff, Russia. Like it's fascinating, man. I'm going to get into it more. I got to move on. Mark, can you call me again?
Sir. I will. Thanks.
Thank you. Nice. Call me again, sir. 888-775-3773 if you want to jump on the air. Talk to the anchor, baby. But yeah. Yes. 888-775-3773. So where was we? We're talking a little bit about hate, blame, and victimhood. Speaking of being taught to hate, the talk, they say the talk, that's an amazing thing that even exists, okay? I feel like that doesn't get mentioned. Maybe it doesn't get mentioned because the conservative talking heads before me already kind of maybe play that one out or something. I'm talking about the talk. You have literal black... It's a whole, they have videos on it. They were on TV about it, where we have to have a talk with the kids. We have to have a talk with our young people. Because, you're in America. You're a black person in America. You could be killed by a cop at any time. And all you do is have a hoodie on. Like, you think I'm being ridiculous, but it's like that. That's how crazy it is. But that's how crazy anger is. That's how crazy blaming and victimhood is. So on hate, blame, and victimhood, it's not a foundation. We're talking about Russia a little bit, the security pact, the changes in the world, but I can't help but also see, is it a change in the people, the public, and it seems in general, the conversation online and just people between each other, it's no patience. It's like, it's very cruel. It's just cruel and revenge. Quick to ire, slow to listen. And there's a lot, there's a lot of fake stuff people fight about, but here was an attack and people died. October 7th. And you know about that Hamas attacked Israel. They call it Black Shabbat, some are calling it, as I hear. They're calling it Black Shabbat. And it was this nasty attack from Hamas to Israel. You know about it. We've talked about it many times. So I'm perusing the internet. I'm on Times of Israel. Okay, I'm on timesofisrael.com. This is not, from my understanding, not some weird website. This is like quite Jewish. Okay, I don't know what I even mean by that. But okay, so Times of Israel. Here's the headline: "The Israel we knew died on October 7th. The new nation will be scarred for generations." So let me duplicate this so you can see it. Because I can't help but, on this war stuff, I'm taking a bird's eye look at stuff, inaccurate stuff I just don't know. But I can't help but think this is right up our wheelhouse here. This is actually right. This is the message. Israel we knew died on October 7th, and this new nation, the new nation, will be scarred for generations. And it goes like this, the article written by Amir Ben David. A month ago, our world turned up. Oh, wow. I should have clued in the first time I read it a month ago. So this article is maybe a little bit older. For some reason, it was being shared a bunch, so I found it. But here it goes. It's still interesting. I think you'll find this interesting. A month ago, our world turned upside down. A month ago, the Israel that we had lived in until October 7th died. A month ago, today, a new Israel was born. What it will come to look like, it is something we cannot imagine yet. But one thing there is no doubt. The trauma of the Black Shabbat will leave the deepest of scars in the soul of this new nation. For decades, it will shape Israel's character, its politics, the relations between its people, between its enemies, between its people and its between its people and its enemies, between its people and the anti-Semites and Israel-hating Nazis around the world. So, strong language from the get-go. I'm cluing in. Obviously, this was a lot closer to the attack, so I'm sure emotions were high. This is not to judge, but to kind of explain, this is exactly what we talk about. I'm talking about anger. So check this out. A month ago, our world turned upside down. Like war, conflict, these aren't nice things. It's not like sweet. You hear people criticize the Christians, say, oh, you guys just want to turn the other cheek. Like that means that there isn't going to be conflict and war. Those things happen. And in those situations, you defend yourself. Okay? That's one of the few times that it's totally justified. Okay? And that's what happened, in my opinion. On this, already, there's already the dead. You already have the dead people from October 7th, those that died in the attack. You already have the families crying, the kidnapped. You already have the bloodshed. You already have the whatever that wrought on the Hamas and Palestinians, etc., themselves and beyond, and whatever dominoes and butterfly effecty type things might happen down the way. You already have all that. That's already happening. But I can't help but wonder, is this the soul of Jewish people? Is this the traditions? I don't know. I personally, from the few Jews I know personally and the things they tell me, it doesn't sound like it. This tradition and these people seem a little bit deeper in their spirituality than that, right? And that means what? Like being close to God means to forgive, to love. That doesn't mean here's what I mean. What it will come to look like, they say. It's a totally new country. Now that this death thing happened, we will now be a new country, built by trauma, scars, their character, Israel's character is going to be shaped by what? You're giving them too much power. You're giving these Hamas people way too much power. And that's what so many people do in their daily lives everywhere. You're just willingly giving it up, all because, I don't know, you're just mad. You're just mad. But I think the message is even stronger here in a situation where I think most would want to say, well, but they were attacked. So you got to understand, there's never a room, especially for people who believe in God, there's never room for hate, blame, and victimhood. Imagine becoming better out of this and not bitter. And the trauma of the Black Shabbat will leave the deepest of scars. That does not sound like being close to God. You know what I mean? So that you understand what I'm saying here? Okay. It's just, if I may nitpick a little bit, this is what interests me more than I don't know, I just don't know all the nitty gritties. Okay. And American politics too, by the way. That's important and significant as well. But okay. Where was I? They're talking about the deep trauma. They're going to I just have to nitpick a little bit. You can't be reborn in violence. You don't just declare that. Cancel those words in the name of Jesus Christ. I don't know, in the name of whatever. Okay? But cancel those words. I mean, look, the world is nuts. You got take this in, by the way. Before anybody gets emotional about anything like this, you got to be careful. The world is nuts. Think about it. False flags, lies, deceit. These things come from our own governments. And one thing I'm focused on is this spiritual plane. Emotions, anger, hate, blame, and victimhood. I can't help but have my spidey senses are going off. And so I know it's, you were attacked and all that. But just be careful with the hate, blame, and victimhood. Even to those people who were attacked in this time where most maybe would say, well, you can understand it here. Even in this situation, there's no room for hate, blame, and victimhood. It just destroys. It only destroys. Am I wrong here, folks? We'll get to calls here, and we'll get to calls. 888-775-3773. Where am I wrong? Okay? And in some cases, it's literal blame. Okay? I'm talking like literal governments to blame. So don't get excited, even people in Israel. You know, Business Insider, J-Post, Israel Today, AP News, they're all reporting just a day ago. And I hear this is actually a re-reporting of a previous report from like October 2023. New York Times report says Israel knew about Hamas attack over a year in advance. You just, when it comes to emotions, hate, blame, you leave a space for everything. You better watch yourself before you start going around claiming we're a new nation. Under what? Under what? Be careful with hate, blame, and victimhood. So yeah, this is a warning. This is a bit of a warning out of love, because when your spidey senses are tuned, you can't help but see it. Check this video out. This is coming at you. This is coming at you from GNN, and then we'll get to calls. This is the Gentile News Network. That's just hilarious. I don't know why that's hilarious. On Twitter, Gentile News Network. This is captioned, "J-pilled my Uber driver on the way to the Detroit airport. His reaction is hilarious." So an unnamed individual films himself talking to his, it seems you can see the Uber driver's arm. It's a black man. And he's J-pilling him. If I may translate, to J-pill someone is basically it's like when you red pill someone, but you red pill them about the Jews. Okay? So that could mean a number of things, honestly, depends on who you ask, right? So they make it clear in the video. Let's just watch here. Let's watch this J-pilling happen before our very eyes. This is coming from the Gentile News Network. Is this the black man and the white man teaming up? Let's watch.
In their book, it says, you and me, we're goyim, we ain't shit, we're cattle. And that we are supposed to serve the Jews, and they have every right to betray us, to manipulate us in order to fulfill that. They see you and me as slaves, basically. Like, they believe in the end times, each Jew will get 2,800 Gentile slaves.
Ooh.
That's in their holy book.
Can't be.
I swear.
Can't be.
Dog, wait a minute.
I'm telling you.
I'm pissed now. Like, wait a minute. Who said this?
This is the Jewish religion in the Talmud. This is their Bible, basically. It says in there that Jesus Christ is rotting.
I'm glad I met you, because oh my God, I cannot believe this. I'm gonna call my sister and tell her about this. She probably know about it, but she ain't really told me about it. But this is what we need to know about.
This is
what we need to know about. J-pilling the black man, white man and the black man coming together. Isn't this a beautiful sight? Coming together, sloughing off the chains of their oppressors. I love the censor sound, actually. I like it a lot. Wow. We're keeping the censor sound. We're keeping the censor sound will continue. Yes, okay. Is his reaction hilarious? Maybe. I think his reaction is a little hilarious. I think the caption was a accurate caption, and at least in the ending there. This is kind of a hilarious reaction. Oh, what? Now, I'm pissed now, he says. I'm going to go tell my sister. And apparently his sister might have kept something from him. You mean you didn't? You were keeping all this Jewish stuff away from me, sister? Okay. I'm messing around. I can't help but look at this and wonder, what is the win? What is the win here? What's the big win? You know, the whites and the blacks teaming up, coming together, right, against the strong white man, educating his strong white black brother to overcome these power control systems. Mark from Los Angeles, I just talked to you. Have you ever heard a white man speak like this? I don't know. Maybe you see no problem, but look, This is kind of sick, folks. It's kind of pathetic. Look, let me explain why. You know, in fact, here's why I know. Here's why I know this is sick and pathetic. Because I can hear it now. I can hear people already saying, "Oh, but Nick, it is in the Talmud, man." But it is in the Talmud. It might be. I don't know the Talmud. Look, I'm not saying it's not. Oh, but Nick, there are unchristian, like just totally not Christian liberals, and they believe in racism. They have this Holocaust fear thing going on, and they're running some things. By the way, that's still just anger. Whatever. All right, interesting. Look, here's why it's pathetic, and here's why I know it's sick and pathetic. You could keep your piddly little facts. I'll put it like this. He didn't correct him for being angry. He didn't correct him for... The white man says, oh, they call us goyim and we ain't ish, the white man says. He says, we ain't ish. We ain't ish. The white man really is black. I told you. The society shifts ever blackward. And y'all don't believe me. Here you got the anchor, but here you got an American anchor baby saying y'all. And you don't think that society is shifting ever blackward. And here's the white man saying, we ain't ish. And that's not embarrassing. This is proof that hate, blame, and victimhood makes you retardando, which means slow in music. And honestly, I think we need a study of IQ and see if there are IQ point deviations if someone starts blaming more. We need to start graphing those in correlation because I want to see something. I'm just curious about something. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit on hate, blame, and victimhood. You know. And you could call me 888-775-3773 if you disagree on something, right? Because I'm talking about hate, blame, and victimhood. I don't know what y'all are talking about. So you're welcome to clear me up here, whatever. 888-775-3773. I do see you on hold. About to get to you. In fact, gonna get to you right now. Let's get to Maze out of Ohio. Thank you for your call.
Oh, Nick.
Hey, Maze. Nice.
I was listening to to Mark.
Yeah.
And he was saying back in the happiest times.
He said the safest.
Time, he was talking about that they didn't have laws.
He
now
said
they have laws, so you can't mistreat people. So that's why he was happy, because you can mistreat them and nothing will happen to you.
Well, I don't know. You'll have to ask him.
What it sound like to me?
How come it sounds like that to you, Maze? Because that's not what he said. That's
said
not what
the happiest
Just
time.
to be fair, that's not what he said.
What? He said the happiest time when we didn't have.
No. He said the safest time. He said the safest time.
The safest time. How was that?
Because he says that there was a lot less crime.
Really? That's what I said.
That's what he said.
When there was no laws, nobody went to jail. They did what they wanted to, and that was it.
Well, it sounds like they didn't need them, or if that's true what you're saying, that there were no laws. I don't know either way, but
like Bonnie and Clyde,
it sounds like they were from what Mark was saying, he was saying that people were behaving better when the blacks were in slavery.
Well, why was they getting hung and all that stuff then if they were behaving?
He says better than now. They weren't exactly. He also says they weren't exactly behaving back then either.
Bernie and Clyde, when they was back in Oklahoma and different places, shooting and going on. Black people weren't doing that back in those days. They was
Is that true?
Did you know that?
I mean, I don't know. I can believe that though. You're saying the blacks weren't doing the crimes that they're doing today back then?
No.
I really don't know either way. It sounds true to me.
It is true.
Can you speak on that a little bit?
What do you say?
I really don't know. Speak on that. Do you have any where you get that from or whatever? Like I'm not testing you. I'm just speak on that freely.
Go ahead.
Were
they allowed to have weapons back in those days to help to keep themselves from being harmed? No.
You're saying the blacks did not have weapons to defend themselves?
Yeah, did they?
I don't know. Were slaves allowed to keep weapons?
No.
Wow. And why is that? Do you know why?
Excuse me?
Do you know why?
Same reason why John Brown was the way he was. Why do you think he was that way?
How was John Brown? I actually don't know the way he was. I'm ready for the education.
He was what you would call a real Christian, not these things that you hear today.
Who's John Brown?
You don't know who John Brown is?
I'm so ignorant. I'm feeling silly.
Back in the
Maze,
day,
educate me a little bit. He's an
people were doing, and he
abolitionist.
was-
Is this true?
What?
An abolitionist during the Civil War?
John Brown, I'm gonna tell you, John Brown was sick of what was happening to the people, and he was trying to help them out. That's why he was harming those that was harming people that didn't have laws. They didn't care. So that's what I'm listening to Mark say. This is my opinion. I don't know what anybody else listening to what he has.
I hear you, Maze. May I summarize what I think you're saying? I mean, you're basically saying that Mark, that was a safer / happier time, in your opinion, that to Mark, because the whites at that time were allowed to mistreat blacks, and that brought them a joy. Is that what you're trying to say? That the joy that whites got from mistreating blacks was what made that time a happier, even though he didn't say happier, he said safer. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and then he turned around and said until the civil rights movement
That
came
sounds
back,
a little... Say again?
they didn't have rights at that time, and he was upset about it.
That sounds like a little bit... That sounds even more ridiculous than anything you think the Mark was saying.
It might sound ridiculous.
No, you literally just said... You literally just said that whatever happiness that Mark or anybody is talking about that the whites were experiencing during slavery comes from their sick pleasure from mistreating blacks. That's why they were so happy, because they were just having a ball mistreating blacks. That sounds like a way crazier conspiracy than anything Mark said.
They didn't have laws back in those days. Did they have laws to keep them from harming people?
I don't know. You're saying they didn't? They didn't have laws to keep...
They didn't have laws.
Who didn't have laws?
The country didn't have laws.
Oh, so they didn't have like laws, like basic laws, like, oh, don't steal, don't kill. Do you think maybe because I don't know, but it's just because a country doesn't have laws doesn't mean that. Maybe it means that the people don't need the laws because they're decent. Like, so you don't need anybody telling you don't kill someone.
Really?
Because I heard, in fact, I heard that the police force.
Those carry that Bible said thou shalt not kill, and it was not Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew, and all those people who said thou shalt not kill, and who made the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, that was for like
and that
brown
was for
people.
Everybody.
No,
people.
Wait, what?
Was it?
I don't know. I just said it for fun.
Yeah, sometimes you put that book away and keep Mark, Matthew, and all those people out there, and you look at his word. It's hard for some people to do.
But Miles, you said that their happiness came from just like a joy of mistreating people.
He was happy back then because black people didn't.
No, you just said it's safer. Here, I heard.
Safe.
Did you have you? Now,
for who?
I think you may be able to clear this one up for me.
I'm saying.
I heard that the police force, police in America, like its whole creation is something to do with slavery. Is that true or no?
No,
do you know anything about that?
Not created. The cops were not created for black people because they wasn't committing crime. Crime was being committed to them.
I thought that may have been a little too far. I really don't know, but I tend to agree. I really just don't know. It seems a little. I don't know. It just doesn't seem true. I guess I just don't know.
Like Mark, yes, it is.
Huh?
But people like Mark don't bother me.
I just don't know the facts. You'll be surprised once you learn like some facts about certain things. You're just like, wait, actually, I really didn't know that things could happen that way. I can't think of an example. What are you saying? Go ahead.
Some people want to get rid of the law now.
Like who?
And some people break the law now and they don't do nothing to them.
Yeah.
Still happening.
Yeah. Like these district attorneys in these different cities that want to do criminal reform, right? And let all the criminals out? You talking about all that?
Some criminals are in jail that shouldn't have been there. They were just put in jail and been there for years and didn't commit a crime, but it was thrown on them, the system.
You think so?
Yes, I know so.
Maybe a crime, maybe it's an unjust punishment, but just for no reason? Nah. You got to have a reason in the American justice system. Even if you're going to persecute someone wrongly, you got to have at least a reason. You have to have at least a story. You have to have a cover story at least. In America, you still need a cover story, maybe.
Yeah. But I'm saying when it comes to laws, everybody then always have to have them. You see, some people was experimenting on in this country. And if you don't believe me, look up 100 experiments that was done on people in this country. Do you think that was religious or was they breaking the law when they were doing it? I
don't know what experience. I heard maybe something about experiments. You talking about MK Ultra?
A happy moment. What?
Are you talking about like MK Ultra and stuff?
No. I want you to look at the 100 experiment that was done on a group of people. It was 100.
That sounds crazy.
Tell me if people were joyful back in those days, they couldn't sue, couldn't do nothing.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but that does not sound good. It sounds bad.
Yourself. I don't want to
So far, with what you told me about 100 experiments, I'm with you, Maze. I'm picketing against them.
Just look it up.
I'm on your side. But with just what you've told me so far on that.
Well, I give you what you look up. 100 experiments that were done on black people.
100 experiments done on blacks. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to look into it.
Who did it and why?
Okay. Oh, I've heard you're talking about Tuskegee experiment. I'm not up. I'm not up on my Tuskegee experiment facts, but you know what? I might have to be after this one, Maze.
That was just one of them.
Well, Maze, I'd be happy to talk about it next time.
Yeah, so my
and anything else you'd like to bring up?
My uncle was in the Tuskegee experiment, and so was my grandmother.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I gotta say, I really don't know this. I don't know the deets. I forget. I may have heard about it. May have watched an episode on this, but currently it's just gone from my mind.
Yeah, but they have laws now. Some people don't like laws because they break them.
Like who? Maze, real quick before I let you go.
About the law. So you have a good one, and so that's what Mark's problem is, that he don't like because laws are here now. And
do you think Juneteenth is ridiculous celebration and it's just more hate, blame, and victimhood? Isn't it just more?
How long they been doing that?
It's just more hate, blame, and victimhood. No.
No, but they want to have White History Month next month. Nobody care.
Yeah, but that's not hate, blame, and victimhood.
Well, if they could bring that into a holiday, they do that too.
Yeah,
so
but that's
cares?
not. No, but that's not hate, blame, and victimhood. That's different.
Well, what's wrong with Juneteenth?
That's because it's hate, blame, and victimhood.
Well, no, it's not. How? Explain it.
Because they're mad about slavery and mad about things that's not affecting them.
It's not a matter. See, y'all don't even understand what they're doing it for.
It's over.
Understand stuff before you jump in.
And anybody who... Huh?
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 They celebrate. It's a celebration. Because of the laws, they don't have those laws that they used to have back in those days. And they was free. So what's wrong with people celebrating people being free from slavery?
Absolutely nothing, in fact, Maze. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is the hate, blame, and victimhood. And
that's what
you disagree, but I'm saying 99.9% of the people celebrating Juneteenth got hate, blame, and victimhood. Maze, call me again on this. Wait, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Christmas and all those days with everybody, so celebrate that too. And make yourself happy. Have a good one.
Bye, Maze. Call me again. 888-775-3773. Did I just get clicked on them? Did she just click on a glizzer? I think a glizzer just got clicked on. But we're letting it just roll off. Because we love Maze. We love Maze. In other news, we aren't going to the moon, right? We're not going to the moon. We're not going to Mars, okay? Because we got hate, blame, and victimhood, right? Is that what's going on here? Is that what I'm supposed to understand? We're not going to we're not getting through the firmament, folks, with this hate, blame, and victimhood. Let's be real. I think we can conclude, as far as the eye can see so far, the prognosis is we are not breaking through the firmament. Because all I see is hate, blame, and victimhood. We are not returning the astronauts. We're not bringing them back. You know, there's apparently 2 NASA astronauts out there in space, past the firmament, or are they within the firmament? Someone will have to make that one clear for me. I ain't never been up there. But these 2 NASA astronauts are, according to CNN, they are, and they will apparently have to extend their stay on the International Space Station. Imagine that. You just take a rocket way, way, way up, and then you dock, you like rendezvous with this object that's flying around the Earth, and now you're up there. You're like gone. You're floating up there. This rocket comes back, or I don't know, Bill, you know if the Boeing Starliner is a landable rocket or what? Are they doing it like SpaceX or? No. Or is it just like? It's like the old type. It's like the old type. They just throw it up and it just lands in water or something like that. Right. And it's just like build a new one.
Lands on the ground. I think this one lands on the ground.
Oh, cool.
But it lands on the ground like on an inflatable.
So it lands on the ground and inflatable, possibly. The Boeing Starliner.
It has like an inflatable to cushion the landing.
Ain't no SpaceX. He's explaining it to me, folks. I'll tell you in a second.
Comes down with parachutes.
Parachutes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Slow it down.
I landed a couple of those in Kerbal Space Program with parachutes. I'm basically a rocket scientist. But yeah, they got 2 astronauts out there right now on the International Space Station, and apparently they're extending their stay. They're supposed to come back. They carried the historic launch. It was June 5th, okay? Carried them into orbit. The astronauts have navigated a number of issues with the Boeing-built vehicle, including malfunctioning thrusters, helium leaks. Anyways, they're over there on the International Space Station. Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore. They are not returning home. What they thought was they were supposed to return and now are not returning until June 26th. That's gotta suck. Like, it's one thing to miss your flight and be like, oh man, I was wanting to go home. It's another thing when the people making your rocket ship are saying, oops, we're having technical difficulties. Give us a month. Give us half a month and maybe we'll get you down from there. You want to come? How long? Okay, so June 26th is apparently their projected return date. And that's already extended from... They were supposed to be 10 days up there? 9 days up there. It's probably not that much. You're right, it's not that much, but like it sure feels a lot more. It's got to feel like a lot more when you're, I don't know, that far away. And it's not just a matter of you missed a flight, but it's more like we're having technical difficulties on technology, on bleeding edge technology that's, we're not even sure of. You know what I mean? Come on, that's got to weigh a little heavy.
No. No.
Wait, hold on. I'm not even on.
You can't do it.
It's okay.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Okay, it's okay. People can just hear you.
Right. No. Oh.
Keep going. Keep going.
But you can't do it because you got that on.
You got what on?
I see you got that on.
That's okay. They'll see green, but they'll see you.
Oh, no, you don't want them to see green.
Or they'll see you like this.
Oh, man. Oh, awful. Yeah.
But you were saying?
You're not going to leave it like that.
No,
Come on. No, I'm just saying they just, what? I mean, they had some helium leaks, and they've been having helium leaks with that rocket forever. And they keep on having them.
Is that supposed to make me feel better?
It's like their main thing. But the leaks are like really small. So they should be able to, as long as the leaks stay small, they should be fine coming back.
I'm hearing caveats. I need results. I'm up in the space station. I don't want to hear about
a few more days. Also staying up there, only a few more days, maybe.
All right, I'll calm down, Houston.
They're probably like, oh, I don't have to go back so fast.
I wonder if they're married.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay, never mind. It's like, oh, great. Whatever you guys got to do down there, whatever you guys got to do, take your time, folks. I know it's difficult, but don't you have a wife? Don't you have a family at home? Yeah, don't worry, they'll understand.
Nah. No, not them.
You think it's anything to do with Boeing? Any negative things to say about Boeing? Or is it overhyped?
Boeing has been having a lot of problems lately. Just something's wrong with the culture at Boeing. I think it stems back from way back in the, 70s or, no, not 70s. What am I talking about? But way back in like the 2000s, something like that. I can't remember when. Boeing bought McDonnell Douglas.
Oh.
There's a company called McDonnell Douglas.
Yeah.
And McDonnell Douglas was like the little scrappy company, doing all kind of interesting, cutting edge kind of stuff.
Innovators.
Right, the innovators kind of. And Boeing was to do everything by the book. Everything's perfect kind of company. The culture of the two. And it seems like when Boeing bought, sometimes companies, when a company buys another company, it's better to kind of leave them separate or mostly separate because they just don't go together. And this is one of those kind of situations. And it seems like, so for McDonnell Douglas, you lost all the scrappy little company innovative, up to stuff all the time stuff. And for Boeing, you lost all the do everything perfect. That was lost. So you got the worst of both worlds.
That is interesting.
They kind of grade. I heard Boeing was. What happened was I think Airbus was going to buy McDonnell Douglas, so Boeing bought it instead.
And now Airbus is killing it.
Yeah, now Airbus is number one.
They're number one in terms of like not market. Yeah. Like Boeing is still they have significantly more planes out there, but I think this year was the first time they overtook them in number of planes sold and stuff like that.
Right. So, yeah, loss.
Fascinating, sir. Well, we're wishing the astronauts a safe return home, and Boeing figure it out.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right. Where was we? That was Bill. We love Bill. And talking about the astronauts here, wishing them a safe return. Could it be me? But why am I bringing this up? It's silly. I was bringing up this. Why? Because I think I wanted to kind of segue into technology. Basically, this was all a big segue to talk about POPLIN again. Okay, remember the laundry service, the Uber of laundries, the new service that's going to disrupt marriage more than it already is. Like marriage and the institution and men and women needed another disruption. Now you got the Uber. Now you got who even made POPLIN? Some Chinese, some Indians, some white liberals. I'm messing around. I'm being nasty for jokes. But look, POPLIN, they're doing the laundries. You can get the app and you can find yourself a laundry pro. Get yourself a laundry pro today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mariana. I love being a laundry pro because first, I really, really enjoy doing laundry. It's kind of therapeutic. So I'm very, very organized. And I found out that also working for POPLIN allows me to help people that maybe is not in the same condition than me, so they are not able to do their laundry by their own. So I feel happy helping people and even my best trying to put all the clothes together, make it smell fresh and clean. Nice. And I really enjoy packaging too. That's one of my best moments in every order. So thank you for choosing me and also choose POPLIN as your laundry service.
So,
thank you.
So you're supposed to pick individuals. You basically put up like a resume. You're a POPLIN laundry pro. And this is why you should pick Mariana, who loves doing laundries. She likes doing the laundries. Okay. And I'm laughing because she sounds like, anybody ever seen Nacho Libre? Okay, I'm sorry. I wish I could reference better movies. Anybody see Nacho Libre? I've hit you with some bangers, okay? I'm allowed to talk about Nacho Libre again. And you remember Encarnacion? She sounds like, I like, my favorite color is light tan. And my favorite animal is puppies. So we got Mariana, okay? She's going to be your laundry pro. POPLIN, the laundry service that's going to disrupt marriage. Can I give you a suggestion here that maybe kind of might turn this around? You got to start a dating thing. You got to start like a marriage service, okay, POPLIN? Look, there's an opportunity here to save America. And there is, put aside your being offended, but there's a line you can draw here between. She's a little apocalypto-ish. Some people like that. So they're going. There's a line you could draw between women doing laundry and possible spouses. Don't get mad at me. Look, POPLIN, this is a wasted opportunity. These laundry pro videos could be a 2-for-1 special. Both your resume for being a laundry pro, but also for maybe a little bit mo. Okay? Poplin, you better get on it, okay? What about the fellas? What do you got for the fellas?
Hi, my name is Michael. I just started on Poplin, and I'm really enjoying it. I like doing laundry. I like cleaning. I'm very detail-oriented, so just the folding and putting all the labels and doing all those little things. I definitely, that suits my personality, so I definitely enjoy it. I like the fact that I get to help out people. I've so far had some families, probably with a lot of kids, healthcare workers who don't have time to do laundry, and the idea that I get to help them out is really rewarding.
Why are you reacting like that? I haven't said a single word. Why are you reacting like that? Goodbye, Michael. What? Why is that the instant reaction? I didn't do this. Y'all did this. Michael seems like a nice guy. He seems like he'd do the laundry quite well, okay? But yeah, laundry equal marriage dating service, huh? Ladies? Anybody? Ladies? It can work for the ladies too, no? He'll snip. See, look, just so that this is proof, I did not cause this, but chat did this on their own. Okay, ladies? Okay, men? Fellas? Looking at the chat and their reaction? This is not to justify judging Michael, but for those who want to say that men and women and their roles are exactly the same and that attraction and all that is the same and that's all equal, I'll let you look at my chat right now and let you say that to me again with a straight face. Okay? We're wishing them well, disrupting marriage, destroying marriage even further. Can we put this all at the feet of Poplin? Anyways, let's get to David out of California. Thank you for your call. You're on the air.
Hello?
You're on the air, sir. Thank you for your call.
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How's it going?
All is well, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was listening to your show a couple days ago.
Yes.
And you were talking about the military and how they're needing people and whatnot.
How they need people?
Yeah, how they're basically not having people join as much, especially young men.
Oh, that's true. You're talking about just like a day or two ago, the selective service, how was voluntary, but now anyone 18 to 26 is like, they're going to be just, they'll be signed up automatically. And the reasoning was because they have very low rates of people joining in voluntarily.
Right. I was just listening to that, and I remember when I was in high school, I'm around Hank's age. A lot of people don't know this. I don't know if it's still as hard, but they had calculus on that test. It was super hard to pass that test, and I took it multiple times, and every time I took it, I just kept on getting a lower score. So maybe what they should do is just lower the academics for that, and they would get people in.
You think it's still like that?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm just saying that when I took it, it was ridiculous. I'm like, this to all this to pull the trigger. The physical, I blew out of the water. I blew out of the water because I was an athlete in high school. But the academics was just ridiculous. I took it multiple times. I even took classes on how to take the ASVAB. It was just really hard to pass that ASVAB. So,
what the heck do I need to know about Pythagoras? Okay, how about Pythagoras this?
You lost me. I don't know.
I'm doing gun sounds. Pythagoras was a mathematician, and I'm pretending to be a soldier, unhappy with the requirements of calculus, as if you would need them to shoot somebody.
Well, see, there you go. That tells you my IQ right there. Well, I'm just saying.
They should have had you shooting, man, but go ahead.
Yeah, it might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. You might be right about it. I didn't listen to that podcast all the way through. But from what I was gathering is basically, I think the lady you were referencing, Cardi Birdperson or whatever her name is, she was...
Who? Say the name again?
Cardi Birdperson?
Yeah, Cardi B, the American rapper, poet.
Right. Anyways. She was referencing how basically all the young men today aren't physically or mentally capable of handling the military. So I don't know. She might have a point on that.
Yeah.
All I was calling to say was basically that ASVAB isn't like what people. It's not like on the cartoons, like where they show like a segment of somebody joining the military, just go up and sign, and boom, you're in. And it's not like that at all.
Wow.
At least when I was coming.
Right,
up,
when you were. Wow, I mean, that's how it sure felt like whenever I hear about it and see it, like you said, even on TV, cartoons. That's definitely what it seems like.
Right.
They make
And I
it
know
seem
you-
like
you
they'll let
said-
anybody in and that it's like a trap.
Right. Yeah. I wish it was like that because then I'm kind of I didn't want to join for the right reasons, as Jesse would say. Like I wanted to join for the benefits, the money and whatnot. It was kind of the only choice I had because I didn't really grow up with much, so I'm not sitting here complaining about it. I'm just saying that I wanted to join more for the financial aspect of it rather than anything else.
Jesse said that's
so maybe,
wrong?
Maybe it's a good thing that I didn't, huh?
No, it's definitely no point in going down that road like coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's totally insane, and it's just not real. But on that, I don't know if did Jesse say that that would be the wrong reason to join the military?
Because
it's like a job, right? You're not wrong for wanting a job for money. The same thing I think for the military.
Right. Yeah. No, he said that basically. He didn't say those words, but he kind of made it sound like that, if you will. Not putting words in his mouth. I'm just saying that basically. And he's right. You shouldn't join because you want money. This is my opinion on it. You shouldn't join because you want money. You should join because basically you're trying to help your country. And just off of that.
Yeah, I could be wrong about this actually. Now that I think about it, just considering it. Yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that actually. Interesting, David. But I wonder, do you share my suspicion that those requirements like calculus and stuff may have been done away with maybe a long time ago?
Possibly. I graduated back in 2005. So out of high school, and I was still taking classes and doing all the things I could to take the ASVAB, to study for the ASVAB out of high school, doing warehouse jobs. And low, basically dead-end jobs.
Alpha. That's cool. No, alpha. That's cool.
Okay.
That working while trying to go to school and make that all happen is what I'm commenting on.
Yeah. Well, I've been working since I was like legally able to work, about 15 maybe. So every time I took the test, I just kept on getting a lower and lower score. So I was like, oh, this ain't even worth it. I'm going to join with the really low score. And I heard when you join with a really low score on the ASVAB, basically they put you as mopping floors or something like that. I was like, I can mop floors out here. What's the point of joining?
Would you have been willing to do that?
Yeah, most definitely. But
respect.
I never got even a score close enough to even do that. So I said, why am I putting myself through all this torture?
Yeah.
And doing all these classes for what reason, So I just gave up on it and, basically pursued workout in society.
I hear you, David. How's that going?
Oh, it's going good.
Right
on.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I was just calling because I heard that segment. I'm kind of behind on the podcast because that's what I do. I podcast them, so I hear shows that are from like 2 or 3 days ago. I heard you saying that, and I was like, I'm going to call in on this.
Yeah, man. Thank you for keeping up. Right on.
Yeah, no problem.
That means a lot. Call me again, sir.
All right. You have a good one.
Take care. 888-775-3773. There's still time to get on the air if you want to talk to the anchor, baby. There's still a little time. There's still a little bit of time here. Absolutely amazing. Here's what we'll do. Let me check something real quick. Because you can buy me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. And in fact, we got 5 coffees. That is 5 coffees from, now I don't know if this will dox you if I say this, so I'm going to say E. This is from E. What's up, E? Appreciate that. With the 5 coffee, says, what people fail to understand is God does not force others to follow and obey. People do not understand the Bible because they do not have love. They have Satan in their hearts and are blind to the truth. Thank you for the support. Very generous. Appreciate that. buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. Thank you for that. Thank you. Did I read this Devil's Avocado? Delighted to be here. Do I see you in the chat? What was that super chat I didn't read? Remember Friday when I didn't do the show? You donated. I'm pretty sure that was you. And I'm like, where the heck did it go? Delighted to be here. Delighted to be here. Was it delighted? May have not even been delighted to be here. Let me see. I think it said something like, please read. Look at that. It's gone. I wonder if you delete a past stream, does it delete the super chats from that day? That's horrible if so. Huh. Sorry, delighted to be here if that was you. But if that was you, type it out. I'll just read it out loud right now. Sorry, I'm a little messy. Okay. Where am I a little basic? Am I a basic-ish itch? I'm gonna be a little bit of a basic itch right now. I'm gonna be a little bit basic, okay? We're talking about clown world, okay? No, but I'm not too basic because these are actually kind of interesting. In that I'm talking about insane clown world stuff. Look, trans people, blah blah blah. It's a little tiresome. It's not something I'm really on that much. But U-turn signs are gay, are homophobic. Like, I can't say it's been some time since I've shared like a end wokeness video. I don't know why I'm trying to distance myself so hard here. Like, I'm so based. I'm just way too based to show you an end wokeness video. But look, this is just way too woke.
Gay people. LA City Council members Hugo Soto Martinez and Nithya Raman were on hand today to help remove the signs. They say the no cruising and no U-turn signs were put up in the 1990s to prevent people in the gay community from meeting up with other gay people.
I was also surprised that these U-turn signs were still up. And at first, they seem a little, okay, it's just a no U-turn sign. But when you learn the history of it and you realize that these were used to profile gay people, it's so important that we have these removed.
The LA City Council members say the signs were put up after the gay community began to grow and because there was a gay bar in that area.
I mean, I bet you... Look, just going off judgment, just off the top of the head, cursory, like, without even looking into it, I bet you there may have been somewhat of a good reason. And I bet you might think, okay, these people are just crazy at this point, Nick. They're just picking out anything. I bet you there was something, actually. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you there actually was something. Like, there was somewhere someone actually thought this was a good idea, and they were maybe even right. They call it, what do they call it? I don't know. They call it like whoring around, okay? Sorry, is that not daytime line? Whoring. They call it prostitution, okay? And I know that's a female thing, but if this U-turn sign actually worked on curbing that a little bit, and I'm not entirely sure how, but I can start imagining some ways. I guess you see the individual you want to procure while you're driving. I guess not being able to do a U-turn might make that a little bit more difficult. I'd wonder if you were determined, would a no U-turn really stop you? Maybe you're just like, I can't even U-turn here. I'm just going home. Oh man, I was about to buy me a little. I was about to spend. I don't know. Buy a person. Talk about slavery. I was about to purchase a lady of the night. I don't know. This U-turn. You telling me I can't do a U-turn here? Just go home. You tell me I have to go down a couple blocks and. Sorry, we're not going to work that hard. We're going home. Okay, look, it might be true. It may be somewhat true, okay? There may be some reasoning here. They may have a point, the gays and the U-turn sign, but it may have been worth it, okay? And what else? I'm being basic, okay? But this is funny. Boofing. You saw it on the JLP show. And you know what? I'm done with that. Let's just move on. Okay, you saw the boofing thing on the JLP show. They're putting drugs in strange areas. Okay, and they got the harm reduction experts. They got the harm reduction experts teaching you how to reduce harm, how to not hurt yourself. You know, because there are various ways to do the drugs. Okay, they have various, what do they call it? Methods of ingestion, okay? And they carry with it various levels of danger. Education is always there to help. It's an interesting thing, though, about harm reduction. Oops. Not to say that that's not something you wouldn't want to see someone harm themselves, I guess. But I gotta say, being a curious person my whole life, I don't necessarily think knowledge, just knowledge, has been a defense in a sense. It's a, how do I put this? Merely learning about stuff and merely crossing certain boundaries is a curse in itself, a lack of wisdom in itself. I'm just kind of rambling on stuff here. Hope maybe you find that interesting, but where was I? Why did this even come about? I'm lost here in the last few minutes of the show. Why was I even talking about this? Because they're boofing. That's why. And okay, I wasn't even going to show the video, but let's just play it. Look, we got the last few minutes of the show. Appreciate the super chats and the calls and everything. Y'all rock. Let's watch this ridiculousness.
Is inserting drugs into what boofing is inserting drugs into your rectum.
Sorry. So why does she have to say it like that? Why does she have to say it like that? Like sing that word. Elon Musk, man, don't do me like this. Elon Musk, okay, last few minutes of the show, don't do me like this. Where'd my internet go? Come on. We're trying to learn about boofing. Inserting
drugs into your rectum. And one of the main reasons people do it is because there's a lot of blood vessels in your rectum.
Oh, you don't say.
A lot of surface area. I always recommend people try boofing because switching to snorting can be a little too big of a jump.
Oh, thank you. Oh, appreciate the concern. Okay, my bad. I didn't want to just start snorting this stuff. Thank you. I didn't know that there was an in-between where I could just start shoving it. Okay.
I think also that helps with our minds. So if you're having a really hard time, hitting, and it's really starting to you're getting in your head about it and you're starting to get frustrated, just knowing that you do have an option of boofing or booty bumping is I don't know, I think
she shouldn't nod her head so matter-of-factly. And so this woman next to her, when she says boofing and then also adds in booty bumping. And when she says that, this lady nods her head in like, just like that was the most normal and expertly thing to say.
You do have an option of boofing or booty bumping is
nods her head. Yes. The expert nods with the expert.
I don't know. I think maybe brings a little bit more ease, right? You're like, okay, I'm getting really fucking frustrated.
Oh, ding. There I go with the O, because I forgot to bleep something.
This is really like, it's not working. Okay, I have this other option too. And
why? She swears like a older lady individual who used to do drugs. You know what I'm saying?
And if you want to inject later because you really enjoy the rush from injecting, like that's fine. But
and if you want to inject, you could do that later. Yeah, if you want to inject, you could do that later, like because you enjoy the rush, and that is just a medically sound reason to do the things that you do, and nobody would not understand that. Have you never rushed? You've never rushed from injecting drugs? What are you, obtuse? What are you going to be obtuse? Okay? Some people like doing that. So if you want to do that, go right ahead. Just consider boofing. Consider the material. Consider the written material before you make any drastic actions, before you do something drastic like snorting drugs. Consider it, please. Okay, hilarious, stupid. It's a crazy world. Okay, you get it. You get it, folks. Okay? You friggin' get it. And that's pretty much the show. There's this interesting story on these police in Illinois, in Ogle County in Illinois. They seem to have made an entrance on a home, serving some kind of warrant. Ogle County, Illinois, okay? Local sheriff's office arriving to a residence. And the story is interesting. I think you'll find it interesting. I don't think we have the time for it today. They got body cam footage and all that. Basically, they're going right in. As soon as they go in, shots ring out. The story is about possibly the son of a woman living in this residence. The details of which you might find interesting. There's people online talking about it, saying, wondering if the local sheriff's office, if they weren't armed with all this tactical gear, and I'll give you a little taste here. If they weren't armed with all this tactical gear, right? Armed up, looking like this, looking like they're coming out of Afghanistan, wondering if they were taught de-escalation and stuff, if it could have gone differently. I think you'll find this interesting. We'll get into it tomorrow. I've heard some people even talk about this topic a little bit, asking around, wondering what's the line here. Do we back the blue, Nick? And I think you might find this interesting. And so we'll get into that tomorrow, okay, folks? We're gonna need a little more time to get into the body cam footage and the story and all that. So thank you for the super chats and the calls and all the support and all that. What else here? In the last 60 seconds of the show? No, we had a meeting about that. No, we had a meeting about that. Appreciated everyone who supported the show and enjoyed it. If you didn't, leave a comment. If you liked it, leave a comment anyways. Tickle the algorithm. Tickle. Right tickle in the comments. Take care, folks. I'll see you tomorrow at noon for more American Anchor Baby, as we do. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace. Bye.